I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Cook.
If you or someone you knew was searching for a place to hide a body, discard a dog, dump trash, would you go to a place that was pristine and clean and looked to be well managed and patrolled, or would you choose a place that was a little run down and may have had a history of that type of activity? Well, if you recall in my previous presentation, I spoke about the attributes and the tranquility and everything and all the assets which belong to Dowdy Ferry. Today, in this presentation, I'm going to show the darker side of Dowdy Ferry and those things which are known to the people that are privy to Dowdy Ferry. Here you see the trash and salvage yards. And amidst all this, going back, as you know, may not know, it's been well documented as to the things that have occurred here on Dowdy Ferry. According to the Dallas Morning News, there's been a lot that's happened. Bodies found, dogs found, trash, dogs found, dogs killed, pigs, animals, what have you. Well, over the past 10 years, this activity has steadily increased. It's gotten worse and worse. Doors opened and those people have taken advantage of what is here and what is not patrolled. Now, this is not to say that this man, but part of the problem is with this man here. His name's Milad Nazar, as we all know him as Chris. He considers himself the king of Dowdy Ferry. And because of this lack of supervision or lack of patrol and enforcing laws and guidelines, his operations here on Dowdy Ferry have expanded. But he can't be responsible for the trash. I know of nothing that he's done with the trash or the animals, other than he may have picked up a few animals. But the trash here on Dowdy Ferry is seen all around. The one place that you find on Dowdy Ferry where there is a sign. There's only one sign I know of, and no dumping and what you could be charged for dumping is that sign, if you can see it right here. But the peculiar and ironic part about this is it's posted at an area on Dowdy Ferry Road where the shoulder is very wide, which someone makes it very easy for them to pull in there and dump their trash or dump their dogs. I find it quite ironic. Along with the trash, as you'll see in these pictures, we have lots of salvage yards. Pay attention to these salvage yards. Salvage yards go from, there's about a mile stretch of Dowdy Ferry where these are quite common. What's the solution? What can be done? This is a local. This is part of the local jurisdiction, the county, because this part of Dowdy Ferry is out of the city limits, but within the confines of the county. Well, back in 2010, the county commissioners, county judge, issued a court order. And that court order was directed at outdoor businesses. Get down here and read this. This is the definition that this was purposed for is automobile wrecking and salvage yards that store 3 or more wrecked vehicles for the purpose of either selling the vehicles whole or dismantling, wrecking the vehicles to remove parts for sale or use. I know of no place on Dowdy Ferry Road with less than 3 vehicles that's in the business of what we would call a salvage yard or wrecking yard or a car crusher. They consider themselves a junkyard. A junkyard is a business that stores, buys, or sells materials that have been discarded or sold at a nominal price by a previous owner, and that keeps all or part of the materials outdoors until disposing of them. There's conditions, there's guidelines here. The one that's most prevalent is these operations, all automotive wrecking and salvage yards, demolition businesses, junk yards, outdoor resale businesses, and recycling businesses shall be screened with a solid barrier fence at least 8 feet high so that any outdoor operations and or material goods, items, debris, or equipment that is stored outdoors cannot reasonably be seen, get this, from an adjacent street or property.
I can see it. I saw it.
Now, junkyards and automotive wrecking and salvage yards may not be located within 50 feet of the right-of-way of a public street, state highway, or residence. 5.2 of this court order says a person may not accumulate or stack materials associated with a junkyard or an automotive wrecking yard and salvage yard higher than 8 feet above ground. Continuing on, Article 8.1 states no new outdoor business subject to these regulations can be constructed without a permit issued by the Director of Planning and Development. 8.2, all individuals, businesses, and organizations interested in constructing, operating, or locating an outdoor business must submit a permit application to the Director of Planning and Development, Elm Street, Dallas, Texas. When a violation, Article 9.2, according to this court order from the Dallas County Judge, when a violation of these regulations occurs, the county shall inform the outdoor business in writing that a violation exists, describe the nature of the violation, and provide with it 30 days to appropriately remove the violation. There are the contacts for Dallas County regarding the violations, the numerous violations up and down this 1 mile stretch of Dowdy Ferry Road. None of you have a pen or pencil to write these numbers down? No fret. Immediately following the conclusion of this presentation, I will give you all the contact information you need to make those phone calls. The problems with Dowdy Ferry, and most specifically these salvage yards, goes beyond a county problem. It goes to a state agency who regulates all conditions, policies, rules, and regulations for the EPA. EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, has guidelines for salvage yards, for junk yards, for anybody. The reason being is the stormwater runoff. As we know, Dowdy Ferry Road, right across here is the Trinity River. Right back here is another water source that runs right to the Trinity River. Stormwater wash off, and besides that, there is no public water out here, so everyone is using wells, those that use them. The fluids, the oils, the chemicals, the antifreeze that goes into the ground, or is on top of the ground, stormwater comes, washes this into the ground, washes it into the mainstream water, and we have issues. This is why these businesses are a Category 6, classified by the EPA according to them, and there are guidelines there. There are permits that are required for you to have a salvage yard, junk yard, car crusher. And there are your contacts, both the national headquarters as well as the regional headquarters, which is in Fort Worth for the EPA, which the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality is the one that regulates for the EPA in the state of Texas. Now, to go even farther with another issue that we have here on Dowdy Ferry Road, which makes people think, well, boy, there's just nobody's watching what's going on here, is the problem that we have with excavation. Acres of land being excavated, trucks rolling in and out, holes being left where once rich farmland once was. Well, that's all fine and good, except as you may have seen with these pictures, there's also an agency that looks after those, and it's called OSHA. According to OSHA, the excavation standards describe various methods and approaches that can be used to design protective systems. Examples of protective systems that can be used to comply with the excavation standards include sloping the sides of the excavation to an angle not steeper than 1/2 foot per foot for every foot of depth. The trench must be, or excavation, must be excavated back 1.5 feet. A slope of this graduation is safe for any type of soil. Well, as you can see by the excavation, there is no slope, and there is a right-of-way road which is not only traveled by a normal typical automobile, but also the heavy trucks that bring or leave out with the gravel. So how can we combat this? The Regional Office for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, there's their contact number. Now, as seen by this map actually is a Google map. It was taken in 2006, 10 years ago. Needless to say, for those of you familiar with the area, it doesn't look like this anymore. But the yellow areas are those areas that are being used as salvage yards as I know them right now. This area here is no longer green. This area here is no longer green. This area here is no longer green. All the excavation, all the salvage yards are all here. And this mile goes from what is Middlefield Road. This is just about 1 mile from Middlefield Road to the road which travels down to the mobile home park here. Just within that 1 mile, the number of violations I couldn't count. Now, today I've quickly shown you some of the problems, the causes of those problems, as well as the remedies. I've shared with you potential solutions. The question now is, what will you do? For years, you may have not have thought that there was anything you could do, that you were just subject to the king of Dowdy Ferry or anyone else in the area that chose to treat the property as it's been treated. But I just ask you to do this. Consider not just yourself, but for those people that will come after you. Say your children. Would you want your children to be faced with what your property may appear to be in 10 years? Does it really matter to you? Does it matter today? Does it matter for them? Does it matter for future generations? Look away from yourself and look more towards those people that are going to come after you. Of what really Dowdy Ferry could be 10 years from now by doing nothing more. By standing pat and saying, it's always been that way. Nothing's going to change. Nothing has changed because nobody stood up. So the question is, what will you do?
I'm gonna let you take care of it. You're elected.
And as I promised,
Oh, paperwork.
I've
Yes.
included in this a copy of the court order from the county, because that would be the first place to start.
Copy of the order.
Gonna test.
This
I
is the
will.
court order,
John
The
Wiley
December-
Price.
and he would be your contact. And then here is a listing of all the contact numbers and people that
Alright.
you can ask for to report all that you know. Any questions?
Have you reported them yet?
Yes.
You plan on doing anything about the historical marker?
Yes.
Well, I guess I can call, that's not sure.
Well, I'll wait my call.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Cook?